For the week I was away, there were some very interesting things happening here in Serbia. Mainly three things I will focus on in this video. One is that a Serbian activist was arrested for allegedly inciting a revolt here. That is not against the law, but he was arrested for it. I will go in a little more detail further away in the video. The second is that a man tried to crash a plane. It's not I don't consider it terrorism, and no one considers it terrorism, but it is I think second attack in the history of this country that someone tried to destroy an airplane. But again, more details later. And the last thing is that we fired our Minister of Defense for sexist remarks. So let's get started. First of all, a Serbian activist here from Novi Sad called Adrian Feigl was arrested last week, or even more. I don't really remember how many. I think there is at least 2 weeks in it, but he was arrested for allegedly inciting a revolt here. Inciting a revolt is not against the law per se, but it is still a thing you would frown upon if you are the state, so it is not really a thing you should joke around, not even anywhere in the world. We had a visit from a NATO official here last week, and NATO isn't very popular organization in Serbia. Furthermore, I will say one of the most hated ones, hand in hand with the United States. I think only the United States has a worse reputation than NATO. So you would imagine that any NATO visit, even if it's diplomatic, it's not very smiled upon here. But the problem was that the Secretary of NATO was here, and that man is notorious for some statements he had in the 1999 conflict with Serbia. And he was here, he was greeted diplomatically, he was on the philosophical college also, I believe, holding a speech, and Mr. Feigl was addressing exactly that, that the man was given a platform to speak, and the people there were also very diplomatic. You know, you can't boo someone, a high official from any organization, no matter how much you hate it. And Mr. Feigl was addressing that the people were clapping him and everything else. I won't really address that, since for me it is moronic to point out, yeah, you clapped for NATO official, that means you must hate our country. It is moronic for me, so I won't even address that. But the point is that he made a follow-up video on that, around, I don't know, like 5 minutes of video, in which he was really not just obnoxious. I don't like the guy. I personally think he's a moron, but I'm not of the opinion that he should get arrested for it. He can speak as much as he wants. I will still consider him a moron. So I don't really have a problem with that, but I have a problem with the state arresting him on the charges of inciting a revolt. No, that is a very serious charge. Even here in Serbia, that is really a serious charge, and not a charge that should be taken very lightly. As last time we had a incitement of a revolt, we had a governmental change, so you know, you don't really go, that's nothing. We don't live in the United States where, you know, everything is a joke to the government, so it's very serious if someone really incites a revolt. Anyways, I don't know how to put this, but just being an idiot on Facebook, not even on YouTube, so, you know, he was just being an idiot. And he was arrested for it. maybe there is some point in the law that he broke and they really needed to arrest him, but still I am in the opinion that he was really unjustly arrested, and there was some support, not that extended support, but there was support for the guy, and I was also, even though I find him very moronic and everything that he says completely moronic, I still was a man who said, yeah, it was very idiotic of them to arrest him, and yeah, so anyways, he was arrested, people lost their shit about it, and that's pretty much where it ended. I think he's released by now, not sure, since I don't give a damn about anything he has to say, so I don't really follow up on the news, but I think he was released. I'm not really sure, but I would assume he was released, and yeah. That was the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing was I would say, failed terrorist attack, but it wasn't a terrorist attack, in the sense that the guy wasn't terrorist, but the way it was presented to us, it is far from ideal, I would say. The flight was from Frankfurt in Germany to Belgrade, a Lufthansa airplane, and it was, I believe, seated in Vienna for, yes, seated in Vienna for a direct flight from Vienna to Belgrade, and somewhere there was a guy who wanted to first enter the cockpit, and then he wanted to open the hatch doors in the airplane. So you can imagine that people were really losing their shit about it. It's not every day that happens. Almost never did it happen. Even in the worst days of the war on terror, we didn't have those things here in Serbia because, well, let's face it, we didn't do anything to the terrorists or any Muslim country whatsoever, so we don't really expect that. But I understand it, the guy wasn't really a terrorist, but only a man who wanted to visit, a Jordanian man who wanted to visit his father, who was stationed in Serbia. So I don't know if his father was stationed as a refugee here or lives here. I don't really have that information, but I would safely assume that his father was not an, I would say, a refugee, but an immigrant here. It doesn't matter. Reports say that man was shouting Allahu Akbar, so, you know, that really makes people lose their shit in an airplane. No one really wants to hear that, but I doubt it, since there were claims that he was Christian. Not that I doubt those claims, but you know, when your father is called jihad, you can't really be Christian. It would be the same as for me as a Serbian man from a Orthodox family to my father be called Muhammad and still claim he is Christian. So you know, that's some ridiculousness, but I'm not here addressing that. He was prevented from doing anything by a handball club here from Novi Sad. The players of that club stopped him from doing anything, and in all essence, since there are no sky marshals here in Europe, but at least not where I live, everything that is done on a airplane is passengers. So they stood by him to the end of the flight, and it was later confirmed that the man has some mental issues. So you can't really say that it was an act of terrorism, because it wasn't. But it was an interesting story, since you know, I got home from college and I turn on the TV, and the first thing you hear is a man tried to to take down an airplane going to Belgrade. You know, that's really not sensationalist journalism, but it is a shocking thing because we are really stranger to any act of terrorism, except for, you know, occasional Islamic terrorism in Bosnia. But that kind of airplane terrorism we are really estranged from. So any news considering that were really shocking, to say the least. But you know, with the Paris attacks, you know, a lot of people wondered if we are next, even though we didn't do anything in Syria or pretty much anything. We didn't do anything in the last, like, I don't know, like 20 years or anything since the civil war in Bosnia. We didn't really do anything. So no one understood why the hell would a man from Jordan, who is predominantly Muslim, right, do anything here. But you know, later it revealed that he was just mentally troubled, and everything is okay. I don't hold a grudge against that man or anyone. So, but it was very funny to hear that the handball players in the airplane actually stopped him from doing anything. And I don't know if they got medals, but they did get some media coverage on it, and I'm very glad for it, because very rarely can you hear in Serbian media positive news. Mostly are one man killed himself and his wife in a rampage attack, or you know, mostly black chronic, we call it here in Serbia. The news that you write so people would get your newspapers, open the sites. Essentially, it's not really clickbait. They say real things, but they put it in that way so that your brain implies you to see, because curiosity, right? So we have a few newspapers that promote, not promote, but use that kind of journalism to promote them. The most notorious are Kurir, which means messenger in direct translation, and Informer. It is really called Informer, I shit you not. And they are regarded as the least true newspapers out of any newspapers here in Serbia, because most of the time they do use lying a lot to further their views, not views but news actually. You know, you could last week I think also the Kurir News made a statement that there was a coup here in Serbia, and that the government is trying to hide it. Now, I saw it as very moronic, as if there was a coup, you wouldn't be talking about it, for one, or if you were talking about it, the people from the government would know way sooner than you would. So, you know, you can understand why my skepticism was off the chart. And a lot of people, mostly old people, but they believed in what those newspapers wrote. Even today I laugh about it with some people that, you know, you can't be that stupid, but obviously you can. And yeah, so that was the second. The third thing I wanted to talk about is that the Serbian defense minister was sacked. I think it was on Monday, because of a sexist remark he made when there was a newspaper crews around him to interview him. He went out of as far as I know, it was a factory, but then again I really don't know the real circumstances around it. There was newspapers all around the man, and one newspaper kneeled to not be in the shot, and he said, "Yeah, oh well, I like it very much when newspaper women kneel without being asked." I'm paraphrasing. I don't really know what he really said, but you understand the point. Not really a blistering good point to make if you're if you're a minister at all. So you know there was a serious backlash against that. That was really a sexist statement, but I won't defend him. But the way after that, what happened? The prime minister, went out and said, "Yes, that is a really sexist statement," and he was, sacked after that. I will not say anything. He really needed to be sacked. But the comments I heard after that, after the sacking, were comments that really, I would say, concerned me very much, since I heard a lot of women who saw that and were like, "Oh hell yes! Next time when I hear my boss saying anything remotely, I would find sexist or whatnot, I will report him, and he maybe will be fired." And that got me a little bit worried, because stuff like that, we don't have the modern feminism here in Serbia that the West has, and I'm pretty thankful for that, because a lot of people will be in court or fired or whatever because they said something that could possibly be regarded as sexist. So that was, for me, that is very worrying turn of events, because even though I don't like the guy who was sacked and everything, and he did get sacked for a reason, I am mildly concerned that it will make a dangerous precedent here, not that specific statement, but after that a lot of women will start, going to the police or something to say, "Oh, he is sexist, he said this and this and this." That made me feel like, I don't know, but I am mildly concerned that we may, for the first time in history, be closer to the West than we want to be. Getting the typical feminist, "Oh, that offends me. I understand this statement was clearly a sexist statement, but who is there to judge what is offensive or what isn't?" And I really do fear, not for me, but for a lot of people, like how that work in a lot of other cases. It's not every day you can hear cases like that. You do hear a few women, complaining, but no, this is Eastern Europe. No one listens to shit that isn't really that important. Even if it is really important, again, if it doesn't affect like 99% of the people, they will most probably just pretend they care, but behind your backs, go, "What the fuck is this man, woman, child, or whatever's talking about?" You just don't care. That is the reality in Eastern Europe. You care or you don't care. Most of the time people don't care. Me first, I really don't care about 90% of things I hear on a daily basis, because I know 90% of the things I hear are pure bullshit, and I just refuse to participate in it. So on the other hand, you really have people who are trying to push that narrative, not narrative, but the ideas of how to get something changed. Well, I will complain about it until something or someone does something about it. If they don't do it, well, I will complain even more, and if that doesn't work, I will claim sexism. I've seen a few women, not women, God damn it, I have seen or heard at least a few activists who are self-proclaimed feminists who said things like that. So I'm not really that into listening anything that feminists in general say, not even here in my country. But it was very worrying for me. I really am interested in what will happen next, what will happen after all this, and I really am interested if this will become a just one-time thing and stop very fast, but or it will be a rule-changing precedent. I am really worried about that, because I really don't want someone now and me in later years to be fired, persecuted, or whatever, because someone thought it was mildly racist, mildly sexist, or offending to someone's imaginary friend. So, you know, I am worried, but not worried like the people in the West are worried, but I am worried. And yes, so with that I would like to finish this video, and I will hear you next time.